You wrote a haiku?
Well, I found a haiku that I wrote back in 2018, and I'm so thrilled.
Oh, wow. Yeah, I've only had one. They're hard to write.
Yeah, they are tough. They are tough.
Gary, what's
Hey,
up?
hey, hey.
I've got 5 or 6 of those, and they all suck. I know haiku doesn't seem to be my thing, you know.
Well, it isn't mine either. But I discovered this one in some old papers that I had, and I'm so thrilled that I wrote it.
Well, great. We'll have to hear it, and
Yeah.
of course, I'll have to try to introduce one maybe next time. And Bobby, you can read whatever you want to read. I don't really care, you know. It's like
You don't?
haiku, you know. Whatever.
Well, the last time I read a poem, I broke the phonograph or I said words that probably needed to be deleted.
Oh?
No, we don't delete on this show.
No, I don't remember
you don't?
that.
No.
Okay.
I'm not even sure. Now, like if you said something at the beginning of the show, Raven could like cut you out, you know, or at the end of the show. Anything in the middle, if you say it, it's gonna go out.
Oh.
Oh, well, it was definitely in the middle. It was in that poem I read.
Oh, we got you. I've loved every poem that you've shared, so it's not going to bother me that much. But then, you know.
Well, it doesn't bother me either. I sent it to my son, and he said, "Oh my goodness, that's the first time I've ever heard you say that word."
Wow.
I said, "You must not have been listening very well then." I don't think he did. I don't think he listened to much of what I said.
Yeah, so we don't have Dean today, I guess, huh?
Well, I just sent him a text to see if he was coming. So
How
about Teresa?
It says here he just read it. So
yeah.
So he might join us. He might have forgot. This is Tuesday. I had coffee with him yesterday. He's been writing poems.
I'm sure he has. He's pretty prolific, actually. You know.
Yeah.
That's good.
Yeah, and he sent me another tag poem, but I'm not very good at sending those back, you know, or getting them out to people like Dale or.
Yeah, I'm waiting for my start.
I think Dale is ready to rock and roll on this thing. You know, she's just
well.
Oh no, I mean I'm waiting to get somebody started poem so I can add something.
That's what I meant. That's what I meant. Yeah, you're all in the game. That's for sure.
I am. Oh yeah, absolutely.
My time right now is consumed with shoving words into my brain to remember for this play. So once I get that done, then I might have time for some of this.
Well, there's always a play, Bobby.
Well, I really,
especially for somebody like Bobby.
This is my last one.
Yeah.
I just don't. Dean just wrote back, said not feeling good today, and I'm going to have to pass. So
yeah.
Okay, well, thank you for letting us know, Dean. Appreciate it. We'll be looking for you next time. Keep writing.
How about Teresa? How about Teresa?
Yeah. Teresa.
She told me afterwards that she had a blast, so I was expecting.
She told me the same thing, you know. And
well, she may. You know, we've been using that one email that has all of the links on it. Did she ever get an email that had?
Yeah, I forwarded that to her.
Yeah, okay. Yeah. Well, I'll take this opportunity to introduce somebody who's not here and may not be here for another session or two, but it's again, it's another theater connection. But there's a couple that I met in Damn Yankees, and Sammy Hartwell is the person of interest. And Paul.
She's going to join us?
She may not. She's traveling today, but she's very excited.
I know Sammy. Sammy's a fantastic artist.
Yeah, and her husband, I better mention her husband or he'll be sore at me, you know, is Paul Hartwell, who's a very good actor. And
yeah, he is.
He stepped in into It's a Wonderful Life to take the lead for a weekend, and he did fine. He's very talented young man.
To be George Bailey?
To be George, he was George. He was about 3 or 4 other people like the rest of us, but he got his shot at George, and he didn't waste it. He did not waste it.
Well, he's very talented that way.
Yeah. The thing about Sammy was that after a rehearsal, one of the rehearsals for Damn Yankees, we all went out to a karaoke joint. Bobby, you've been there. I don't.
Yeah.
Been there or not. But she was indicating that she wanted to go on, and I asked her what she was going to sing, and she said, "Well, I'm a rapper." And I said, "Oh, okay. Then it wouldn't matter if you did tell me what it was. I wouldn't know, But I'm very excited to hear you." And I got to tell you, she killed. She just killed. I mean, she just and everybody just ate it up. I've never heard rap in a karaoke place, but I don't get out much, so it's like that doesn't mean anything. But anyway, she's very excited to be on the show, and she will be either the very next show or the one after that. And I told her I'd give her a little promo,
Yeah, well, great. I'm looking forward to seeing her on here.
Yeah, absolutely. Oh, so are we gonna start out with a haiku, or are we gonna start out with the beginning of a poem, or who's gonna go first?
I've got to hear this haiku that
Oh no, I didn't say it was good.
we don't
Well,
care.
it was just fun.
I just said I've got to hear it, so maybe I'll think it is good.
It was fun because I was going through some papers, and I keep a lot of little notebooks, and so I'm flipping through to see which pages I can throw away, and I came across this one dated August of 2018, and I called
Ancient history.
I called it Early Morning Haiku, and it's like I don't remember writing this at all, and then I'm thinking, well, maybe I stole this from somebody. I saw it someplace and I wrote it down,
Yeah,
So then
you're
I read
encroaching
it.
on my life now.
And then I read it, and it's like, oh, well, this makes sense. I remember when I was in this house for a couple of years, and when I bought it, there was like zero landscaping. It was weeds and yuck. And anyway, and this evidently is a time when I went to the nursery and I bought a bunch of plants, and I was about ready to plant them. So you would never know that from this, but I remember from memory. Okay, so this is Early Morning Haiku, 575. I mean, that's what I did. I went, 575. It really is a haiku. Okay. My spot on this rock, lavender waves in round pots. Hello, hibiscus. I didn't say it was good.
No, it was good. I don't understand the last line. Hello, hibiscus.
Well, I bought a lavender plant. They aren't lavender plants. They're little plants that are purple. And I remember setting them out in the yard, and I bought a couple of hibiscus plants. And so, and I'm getting ready to plant them. See, so, and here I am on my, so.
As you finish the second line, I was thinking, this is one of the best haikus I've heard, but then I got lost with the last line. So could you read it again?
Okay.
Yeah, definitely read it again.
Okay. My spot on this rock, lavender waves in round pots. Hello, hibiscus.
Oh, I do like it.
I got it now. I
do like it.
Well, you're a trailblazer. You're a trailblazer. You went first.
Yes.
Yeah, that was great.
I'm gonna take that as a personal challenge, although I don't know if I should.
Well, you could take it as a challenge. It's going to be hard to beat that one.
Well, yeah, for sure. But that's.
I'd like to see you try.
She sets the bar high, but that's what we're here for, right? I think that's what we're here for. I'm here to hear Bobby go next. That's what I'm.
Yes.
All right. Well, this poem that I wrote in the last 2 weeks, you know how much we love and care for and hope the best for our kids. And 2 of my 3 daughters have just found the house of their dreams. The thing that they love. They're 2 completely different. The third one is now looking for her house, and my sons will probably never own a house. But this house that my middle daughter bought is out in the country, and she loves 2 things. She loves a glass of wine around the fire at night, and I wrote and shared a poem a few weeks ago called Luxuries of Life, and that was a picture that she had taken with a glass of wine and the fire. Well, her husband and father-in-law came in to help her husband, and they built a cover for their back deck, and she is in love with that covered porch, and she loves to sit out there with a fire in the morning and drink a cup of coffee. So a glass of wine and a cup of coffee. And so I was sitting there looking at this picture thinking, I've got to write a poem for it. Remember Jimmy Buffett sitting on the dock of a bay? That kind of came into my head as the rhythm. And so this is the poem I wrote. I sent it to her. She said, I love that, Dad. I've saved it. I'm going to listen to it often. So the poem is called Close to Heaven. And there's a photograph that she took. And so it says photographed by Amy Walters. The poem reads, sitting on the deck of my porch while the sun turned the night into day. Sitting on the deck of my porch, wary of blue skies instead of gray. I left my home in green valleys to settle in this sun-parched land. Some might say I moved out of heaven, but hell, I'm sitting on the deck of my porch with a cup of coffee in my hand. This is as close to heaven as I could ever be. I want to live here, to die here. This is bliss for me. So there you go.
I gotta say, I want to jump in and say you did Jimmy proud. What I was listening to throughout that poem was the very strong rhythm that you had going on, and it almost had me, finger popping, because I like that kind of stuff.
Well, one of the things, I go to see all of my kids in the summertime, make the trek, and I've been there at night sitting around the fire with her and a glass of wine, and I've been there in the morning with coffee and conversation, and so I can just feel myself sitting there. In this picture she took, I can see her foot outstretched with a cover over it and a cup of coffee with her fingers wrapped around the handle of it. And I could just see her. I mean, that's just, she feels every moment of life, whatever it is. And I could just feel her being happy there. So, and I found another picture that she took of that place that I saved. I told her yesterday I'm going to have to find a poem for that. I know there's a poem for that one too.
That's great. It's a great story too. A great relationship. Yeah. You guys are doing so well that I don't even want to play.
Sure.
I'm gonna read one of the longest poems I ever wrote.
Okay.
Oh wow!
Just to offset the brilliance of what you two have offered, and if this don't offset some brilliance, I'll be shocked. Anyway, hopefully it'll be in this first book. I kind of like pile things up for these shows, but and if you have read it, you know how long it is, so you better Just sit back. And you ain't gonna get to say anything for quite a while.
All right.
Okay, this is
All right.
why my phone is.
Wait a minute. Let me get my pillow.
Yeah, get your pillow while I kill my phone. Which I mean, I would like to say that literally, like I would like to kill my phone. Anyway, here we go. I call this one Ode to Brownie.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, just a line to let you know you were the best dog ever lived. Because you were my dog. Because you were my friend. I thought you might want to know, yeah, that you were my last dog too. My very last. Mom said God took you. Dad said poor judgment did you in. You did love chasing cars, you know. So I figured if God took you, only God could give me another dog. And he never did. Some might say you had a hard scrabble life, never allowed in the house unless it was freezing outside, never had a house of your own. Dad built you a lean-to and said it had to do. You never got to hang around the dinner table and beg for scraps like some dogs were allowed to do. Mom said back on the farm, animals had to earn their keep and pets should fend for themselves. So I always saved you some supper and fed you on the porch. Dad was always saying I should tie you up. I should tie you up at night whenever we would leave. Neighbors said I should have you on a leash. The only time I ever saw you mad was when I tied a rope around your neck and tried to pull you for a walk. I gave that up soon enough. Anyway, who wants a dog who won't just follow you around because it wants to? We did buy you a nifty leather collar, though, with Brownie stenciled on a little brass plate. That was just in case you got lost. A finder could read your name and figure you must be Gary's Brownie. You were never much for showing off. Words like fetch and sit and roll over just weren't in your vocabulary. But whenever I would talk to you, your eyes would focus on my face and you would listen like you understood. Then there was the fun we had. Remember when I tried to push you in the tire swing and you were too scared to jump out? When the swing died down, you just hung there like a trussed up ring of sausage. You were better in the wagon, though, standing like a general watching his troops go by. Remember the Halloween, the time I took you to an outdoor party and us kids all bobbed for apples. I guess you felt like one of us, but it did create a ruckus when you slipped between me and a pal of mine and glommed onto an apple for yourself, trapping it against the side of the tub like you've been doing it your whole life. Page turning. And there goes my phone. And then taking off like a thief, leaving me to bear your scolding. But best of all, I think, for both of us, were the hours we spent exploring the mysteries of our secret woods. Me searching for Indians and lost gold and maidens in distress. And you, the mighty hunter, chasing anything that moved, including fish floating near the surface of the pond. I believe to this day you could have caught one if you had more stealth than splash. Some say you were a mongrel dog, no lineage to your name. But I say you come from a long line of brownies. I've seen you through the years, white with big brown splotches, or the other way around, hanging with a boy or girl, companion dogs of the highest order. And you were my brownie. I was proud to be your kid. I'll remember you forever. Will you remember me?
Hmm.
That's my long one.
Yeah, that was long. It was very emotional, very touching.
You know, it's funny. I would say in general, I don't get too emotional about stuff that I write, but I cannot get through that poem without just having to pause, you know, because I'm about to tear up. And I don't know what, you know, it was just, it was a dog, you know, it was my dog. Anyway, thanks for your
Well, there's
indulgence.
a reason why dogs are good companion animals, because they're good companions.
Absolutely.
Great.
Well, that's a good lead in to a poem that I wrote recently that I wanted to share today. So I didn't know if I wanted to share it or not, but after that one, I think I have to. You know, in social services, it seemed like in the fall, that's when my caseload, you know, always was missing people. People seemed to pass away towards the end of the year. And in fact, I just got a phone call early this morning, one more person, a friend of a friend that's been suffering with cancer for a couple of years. She passed yesterday. So anyway, what my poem is about is my nephew took his life a little bit before Thanksgiving, and he left videos, one for me, one for his sister, and one for his daughter. And it was quite emotional, as you can imagine. But anyway, so I wrote a poem about that, and I will share it.
All right.
It's called Video Farewell. Eyes open, eyes closed. I'm sorry, he said, with tears in his eyes, and his dog barking in the background. Inside demons, outside smiles. How are we to know? All of us who love you. Eyes open, eyes closed. Why did you hide inside? We would have loved that part of you too. I'm sorry, he said, with the dog barking in the background, with tears in his eyes. There's nothing you could have done. I love you, he said, and I know I will see you again. Now, when I try to meditate, I cry. And all I hear is your dog barking in the backyard. He said on the video, the dog was his best friend. He named it Ricky after his father, my brother.
Oh,
So,
very touching.
The ending was very powerful. That last line, or last couple of lines, it was sort of brought it all home.
Yeah. It was very good. Well, I don't.
It's kind of hard to
Real
praise
time.
something that's so emotionally emotion ridden, you know. Yeah, you kind of just want to say thank you and have a moment of silence and move on. It was a very meaningful poem. I appreciate you sharing.
Okay, so I guess I'm up. This
Yeah,
is
your job is to perk us up now.
this is one of those tag poems that
He could do it.
Dean
Oh,
sent
good.
to. I was telling Dell that I love getting them, but I'm not very good at sending them. And maybe I will when I have more time. But this one that he sent me, it had to do with the question why are we here? And of course there was no finish, or I mean it was just I don't have it here, or I'd read it to you, what he sent me. But this is what I took and did with it. And I put it, you know, all my poems are in graphics. So I stuck it inside of a graphic with my family. It's not the whole family. It's a picture of my boys and some of my grandsons. So it's a man picture. But the poem is called Why. Why is why the question until the day we die? It seems with most an obsession. I wonder why. For me, I found the answer early when I was still a child. So I'm not obsessed. My soul is calm, my heartbeat mild. I was born into a family where I knew that I belonged. Not the perfect family, because for sure I was very wronged. It was not what they did or didn't or still would do to me. It's just that I was part. I needed them and they needed me. I was an intricate part of the whole even before I came here, now, and after death. I'm still part of the same. Why is why a question until the day we die? IDK. I really don't, because I know the reason why.
It's nice.
You know, I was well, it was moving, but as you were reading it, I was actually thinking of, for lack of a better term, the exercise, you know, of picking up on somebody else's poem. And I thought the way you ended it was just a perfect tagline for somebody, maybe him, to pick up and take it further. I don't think we really have any rules at this point. You know, if we hear something, we hopefully we would feel free enough to share it. You know, not that I'm necessarily thinking about doing it, but I would like to hear the last part of it. I know I said
Actually, I'd like to hear it all again. I mean, you cover a lot of stuff in there.
Yeah,
like
it really does. It's
all right. Yeah, I'll read it again. You know, it's you know, I was a pastor for 25 years and living here in this senior community and pastoring a church, I heard this question a lot. Why are we here? What's our purpose? And people struggling to find that. And I, as a preacher, as a pastor, I don't like being called a preacher. I hate that word. But I community, being a part of something, you know, the community that we have here, it's more than the poetry to me. It's the people. I just, you know, I want to be a part of our group of the community that we built. We haven't excluded anyone. Everybody's welcome, and I love that. That's what I, you know, I don't understand the question why, because of community. And I found in the church a lot of times some of the very traditional elders that were on my cabinet, you know, they wanted me to preach things that would exclude people, push people away. You know, they wanted me to be really strong that way, you know, and tell people the rules. And if you don't follow the rules, then you're not a part. And I just said, no, never, never, ever. My pulpit, I will always just tell people that I love them and God loves them right where they're at. And that's just the way that it is. So I was in trouble a lot. In fact, I got pushed out early, I think, because of the way that, you know, I was told a lot of times you're not the normal preacher. And I wasn't the normal preacher in that strain of church, evangelical church, that wanted to come up with rules that everybody had to follow, and if you didn't, and nobody did, by the way, nobody followed the rules, but they
That's
just
the irony. Yeah.
they wanted, it was just a bunch of people who said they were following the rules. And so anyway, this why question is, to me, I'm just a part. I'm a part of the community that we share. I'm a part of my family. I'm a part of the larger community, and I'll be a part of a community when I'm gone. I don't believe that I'm just here all for myself or by myself. So anyway, that's kind of the thinking behind it. So I'll read it again. Why is why the question until the day we die? It seems with most an obsession. I wonder why. For me, I found the answer early when I was still a child. So I'm not obsessed. My soul is calm, my heartbeat mild. I was born into a family where I knew that I belonged. Not the perfect family, because for sure I was very wronged. It was not what they did or didn't or still would do to me. It's just that I was part. I needed them, and they needed me. I was an intricate part of the whole even before I came. Here, now, and after death, I'm still a part of the same. So why a question until the day we die? IDK. I really don't, because I know the reason why.
I didn't get IDK the first time, and I should have, because my daughter uses it all the time. But that was a nice.
Well, it would have been too long if I said I don't know. So
I know, yeah, but it was so cool that you.
So it fits perfect. IDK, yeah, I really don't.
It did.
Well, good, because I didn't know what that meant.
IDK,
I'm glad you explained it.
I don't know.
You got to hang around more kids, I guess. I don't. Although my kids are not kids anymore, man, they're in their 50s or 40s.
Yeah, but they still are using IDK.
Oh yeah, I've been using it.
But I have 6 kids, 14 grandchildren, and 7 greats. So I get the IDKs and everything else all the time.
That's probably why you're so hip, Bobby. You got all these connections.
Yeah, I am hip. You know what? I got a present from my daughters for my 70th birthday on December 6th. It was a walking stick. So.
Oh, there you go. There you go.
And it's and in the play I'm in now, I say, "Where's my stick?" 3 times. So I'm gonna have this stick that they gave me in the play. So.
That is too cool. That is too cool.
It is, and I need it actually. I don't have the balance that I used to have, so it's nice to have the stick. I don't need it to walk. I just need it to catch my balance every once in a while.
Yeah, yeah, I can relate with the balance issue for sure. Running helps a lot, but if I don't run, I'm just. I don't walk into walls, but I do fall over a lot, trip.
Yeah. Well, you need a walking stick. See, my daughter is in healthcare for seniors, and she says everybody has a walking stick now. So you don't want a cane.
Yeah.
A cane's not cool. Get a walking stick.
No.
So, and I've gone into stores with this walking stick, and people move out of the way. They go, "Oh, you go first."
There you go. Nobody wants to be pinned to the floor with a stick in your foot, Yeah.
Oh dear. Wow.
Oh wow. I got a couple of cane stories myself. Actually, it was having to walk on a damn cane that caused me to get some surgery that changed my life. It's allowed me to keep moving on and running and everything else. So just to be specific, it was hip surgery that I needed and didn't want to have. And when I started walking with that cane, I realized, man, you got a long ways to go with this cane, and you don't like it, so you better do something about it. So, yeah.
Well, I have a cane too, and I didn't like it. But get a walking stick, Gary. You'll love it.
I think some of my cast members would love it too. They're afraid they're gonna knock me over, I'm gonna knock them over, or wander off into the wrong
Yeah.
scene or something. Anyway, I think it's my turn, right?
Yes,
Yes,
it is.
it is.
I'm reaching for the book, so I hope it's my turn. This one won't be so long. Actually, this kind of, well, I couldn't say it was inspired by Dale's poem. Dale, what was the name of the poem that you read about your hummingbird?
Oh,
The title.
yeah, the something of the, let's see.
I could have written it down, but I didn't.
Yeah. The Warlord of the Patio on 27th Street.
There you go.
Yeah.
There you go. Okay. Now, I can't really hold a candle to the warlord, but I do like this little ditty that I wrote, and so I'm going to read it. And the title is I know God made hummingbirds to fly. Actually, it's one of these poems that doesn't have a title, so we just use the first line as the title. So I have to read it again, okay? I know God made hummingbirds to fly, but I don't know why this particular hummingbird flitted in about head high and looked me right in the eye, and I don't know why, but thought I should try to share his impertinence with you. Share his impertinence, share his impertinence, share his impertinence with you.
Huh.
That's my hummingbird.
Yeah. He
Wow.
gave you the once over, right?
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I swear, it got right up in my face.
Mhm. Yeah.
Dang.
Yeah.
Okay.
So is the share his impertinence over and over again because of the fluttering of the wings?
No, I just thought it sounded good. It actually isn't in the original poem. I thought,
Oh,
I'm a budding lyricist.
yeah.
I'm maybe one of three people who actually know that, but now it's five, right? So no, I just tried trying to be cute,
Yeah, yeah.
But I mean, if you can't have fun with your stuff, why write it?
Mhm.
That's right. And you can change it however you want when you wrote it.
There you go.
Yeah. Well, repetition is good.
Well, yeah, it is.
Mhm.
I think.
Yeah.
And it's kind of like balance. I may have done it just because, wow, that's a really short poem. But I don't think it was that. I just think as I was reading it today, I just threw in those three extras, and I said, I like that, so I'll just do it.
Mhm. Okay.
Pregnant pause.
Yeah. Well, it's
kind of
Dale's
fun to
turn
do
if
that.
she's got
Oh, is it
another.
that turn? Okay. Well, I'm going back to my book because that's all I have for new stuff. But this is from my book, and I think I've read it before. So if I have, pretend that I haven't.
Okay.
Okay.
I can do that. I can do that.
In the book, I call it Beyond the Prom. And but when I was reading it the other day, thinking I might read it, I decided to change it to Peeking In at the Prom. So I don't know if that helps it any, but
I didn't catch the last part of that.
peeking in at the prom, prom
Peeking in
dance.
at the prom. Okay, I got it.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
got it.
okay,
I didn't get that.
okay. Shadowed figures slide over polished wood. Paired silhouettes cling to shared lyrics, secret sounds. Through glass and time, I strain to feel the rhythm. Silence consumes my search. My ears seek music. I long to feel the magic of their movement. Adrift among toneless decades, never to join in. I imagine them slow dancing still. Parallel journeys straddle a window draped in memory. I want to trade my shipwreck for their voyage.
I could steal that whole poem. I could just steal it, put my name on it. No, I mean, I'd be happy to. Actually, there were so many good lines in there. I wouldn't even know where to start. That one really had me from the get-go. If I were to ask you what your favorite lines in that poem are, what would you say?
Well, I have several in there, but I like the last one. You know, looking at somebody else's life and, you know, feeling like, you know, they have a voyage and you have a shipwreck. But, you know, I love alliteration. So, you know, when it comes to speaking music and magic and movement, you know.
I love alliteration too. And a lot of times when we're talking about rhyme, as in all poems have to rhyme or should rhyme, use rhyme, there's so many other things, poetic things you can use, and alliteration is certainly a big one. I like it. I like it a lot myself. So and I try to use more of that. And if it's going to rhyme, it's going to rhyme. These poems, they have a life of their own once they get started, you know. Anyway,
some of them just kind of pull you to the rhyme.
Right.
Oh yeah, for sure. Which is okay. That's fine, you know.
As
long as I get pulled, I don't care. You know, I want to go someplace.
Well, okay, so I have a poem that rhymes.
What an introduction.
Right.
We just gave you, and we didn't even know we were doing it, right?
Right. I have been thinking a lot lately for a lot of different reasons about the church and the rules they set up and the exclusions that they create instead of they're exclusive instead of inclusive. I came across this picture of a little tiny country church that looks like it's abandoned. The grass out front is green, or is yellowed, dyed yellowed. It's like no one's there anymore, which I think is pretty true of a lot of churches in America that lived on those rules. They're dying off. But anyway, I took that picture and wrote this poem, and it's called Grace for All. I grew up in a hardcore evangelical church, and I was not told the truth all of the time. Was it inadvertently or by design? Does it matter? Truth should matter all of the time. So inside of this culture where truth was not there, was there or not there some or all of the time, I somehow came to discover that the gospel truth was not always going to rhyme. Sometime, but not all's time, because your relationship with God might be a little different than mine. The end.
I love that take on time. I'm going to have to hear that line again. It was about 3 lines from the end.
So inside of this culture where truth was there or not there, some or all of the time.
Yeah. I like that. Truth was there or not there, some or all of the time. I just like that balance. Yeah,
I liked it too.
Yeah.
And that's what it was. There was truth there, but they were given the gift of truth, but they just used it as a club instead of calling, instead of labeling their doors with that truth. They just used it to beat people up. So anyway, yeah.
Well, thank you.
Nice.
For the poem and for the insight,
Yeah, I've realized that sometimes it requires, when you write a poem, it sometimes requires that you explain a little bit of the background and
Sure.
Well, it makes it more meaningful.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, and almost all stories need a decent introduction, you know.
yeah.
And I thought you more than did that. So again, thank you.
Yeah.
You've noticed I don't really have any new poems. I don't know if you've noticed that or not. It's not that, well, I wrote these books and I'm done, as I'm actually working on my latest, and I may never finish it. I don't know. So that's why I read them out of these books. Now when I do want to say one thing after I read my poem. Okay, I'm gonna get all my stuff in here. I do want to say I want to make one suggestion, a request actually, about this idea of building on somebody else's work, which I really appreciate that you gave that a shot, Bobby. Anyway, let me do this little poem here. I think I've done this one before. Called "Love in the Bud." I read it. I think not so much because I think it's better than my other poems. It's just that I am totally in love with the last two lines, and I cannot stop sharing them with people, whether they agree with me or not. You know, and so here goes. It's called "Love in the Bud." Let us promise not, when love is in the bud, that there can be a conjuring with the incarnations of the season and their death-defying undulations, such that the raging beauty of our rose can unleash its atom-smashing essence. But let us simply say we love today, and we might behold a new reality, a new and natural knowing, serene in its sensitivity, facile as our fleeting moments, accepting of each other's truth as patient soil accepts the rain.
Yeah.
I love that last line.
Yeah, nice ending.
That's the part I love too. The rest of it's all right, you know. But you know, I didn't even like this poem for a while because of the first half of it. It just sounded like somebody was showing off a little bit, you know what I mean? I don't mind showing off, but I don't like getting caught at it, you know what I mean? Anyway, thank you for your attention. Now, here's the deal. Okay, so thanks to Dean and Bobby, we made we followed through on what we're talking about. And I don't know, Bobby, if you know this, but I'm pretty sure Dale knows this and has read this. I've got this poem. It's still the only new poem that I have, and I've had it for a couple of years now, I think. And I keep giving it to people as here's what I got so far. And nobody has given me much. Well, Dale gave me some ideas, which I failed to I just couldn't do anything with them. Not that they were not great ideas. So I thought, well, what if I just read you like the very first verse? Now I realize as I'm speaking that I'm not even sure where this poem is. Which, if I had thought this thing through, I would not have done this. But I'm still, I can do it next time. And here's the thing. I would like to just give you the part that I wrote as soon as the thought and the images came to my mind in the first place. And then I tried to build on that. I haven't been able to build to my satisfaction. So what I'd like to do is take like 4 lines not give you everything I've already written, just the 4 lines that mean the most to me, and see what happens. I could almost memorize them or have them memorized, but I wouldn't want to do it. But anyway, I'm gonna write that down. I'm gonna have that for the next show, because
All right.
I still think it's a cool poem. The image of I call it my biped baby, you know, it's all about this gal that kept walking
Yeah.
back and forth
Yeah.
in front of my condo when I was doing a lot of sitting on the porch, or well, we don't call them porches out here, you know, back home they're porches, but out here they're, what are they?
Patios.
Patios, they're patios, yeah.
Yeah.
Patios, yeah.
I sit out on my patio during COVID, not a whole lot going on, except this gal just kept walking back and forth. Not back and forth, but she'd walk by and a half hour later she'd come back and I would still be sitting there waiting for her. And of course I never said anything or anything like that. And I think that was a good thing too, for her, probably.
During COVID, especially, yeah.
Say what?
During COVID especially, it was a good idea
During
not to
COVID,
say anything.
yeah, you know, it wasn't like I was gonna get a conversation out. I did like it that she did hike without a mask. And not that I want to say that's a good thing. It's just that it was a good thing if you're a poet and you want to see what she looks like, you know. And she wasn't talking to anybody, so I guess she was okay. Anyway, that's it. How are we doing on time? I would tell you, but I just dropped my phone.
Well, it's about time to wrap it up. It's about 2:55.
That sounds good. That sounds good. I don't really have anything else.
I don't either.
I don't either.
You sucked everything out of me that I had.
Well, what is beautiful about both of you is you have so much that I don't have. I don't do anything actually. I just kind of sit here and wait for y'all to wow me. You know, it's like, okay, I'm here to be wowed, and I always am. I always am. And everybody, hey, I'll be honest. Everybody who's been on our podcast, I've loved their stuff. You know. At least some of it anyway, you know. So that's pretty much what I've got. I'm now I do want to remind you all that you can look at the YouTube thing. You have the link, and you can go on the YouTube link and see the shows that Raven has edited, and in other words,
well, and I have a reminder that, you know, the email that was sent out with all the links in it, today was the last link in that email. So yeah, if we're going to continue, we need a new
you need a new one
list.
And Raven is aware of that, and he's on the case. But thank you for recognizing that. So unless anybody has any parting words, I think it's I'll start it off. See you in 2 weeks. Keep writing.
Because it's good for you.
All right. You guys are good. You know, you are good. Love you all. We'll see you in 2 weeks.
See you next time.
Yeah. All right. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.